Injury update from the Phoenix Suns. It's what we promised. It's what we're going to deliver. We got two guys who are out who are not going to play. Grayson Allen's not going to play tomorrow night against the Kings. Kevin Durant's not going to play tomorrow against the Kings. I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen.
There were the two almost like back-to-back plays where Durant kind of banged knees with Hayes. And then the play went on for about a minute, and he came back, and he kind of like his ankle went when he kind of just stepped wrong. And that was, and I'm just trying to get to my notes here because I wrote down in my notes.
In the fourth quarter, it was 5 minutes left in the game. I think, when that happened.
And that's really like, okay, you were a little nervous at that point with Kevin Durant. So it was right after a LeBron 3-pointer. He stepped wrong on the ankle. And with about 8:40 left, that's when he kind of banged knees with Hayes. So there were kind of two situations there. And listen, we're all holding our collective breath, being, is he okay? Is he okay? Now, he ended up continuing to play. But, you know what happens sometimes with those things like that. You're able to continue to play in the game, but afterwards it swells up a little bit, or the next day you don't feel right, and then so they're going to hold him out.
Frank Vogel was asked about that today at practice. Did they think about taking KD out against LA?
Yeah, we were contemplating taking him out. Just because it wasn't really moving that great. But we've had to finish 2 games in the last 2 weeks with a guy trying to tough through an ankle sprain, not at full strength. Credit him for being in there and made some big shots late, even on the bum ankle. So, the guy's really tough, man.
Bradley Beal, though, Gambo, was a full participant in practice today. And here's Frank Vogel on what they want to see from Bradley Beal before he comes back.
We want to see him, stack together a few practices where he responds well for him. So, no timeline on how many that is or what that looks like, but we want to continue to, just make sure that he's responding well before we put him back in there. We'll stay away from that. They went out that we saw earlier.
Could be soon.
He's only played in 3 games. I saw a story that said he's now not eligible for any of the NBA's end-of-the-season awards.
Oh, damn.
Because he's only played in 3 games, which I'm not really worried about. I'm just worried about can he help the Phoenix Suns
of course, I was
win a championship or not.
As sarcastic could be. I don't care about that.
Yeah, he's officially missed 18 games out of 21. 18 out of 21 games he has missed. And I just would love to get him back because I'd like to see this team start to get healthy. And It's been a tough first, quarter of the season here with the injuries to Book and Durant and not as much Durant, but mainly Book, but now Durant, and of course Bradley Beal and Eric Gordon, and you just look at it like, okay, you just want to see what this team can do when they're healthy. We really just haven't seen that yet. So it is hard to look at the Phoenix Suns and really evaluate them the way we want to because we haven't seen them together as an entire unit yet.
Now, for the record, and I won't play the soundbite, but Vogel did say today that he thinks the KD and the Grayson Allen injuries are very short-term. For KD, it's the ankle. For Grayson Allen, it's the groin. He did not classify either as something that would be a long-term deal. So maybe one could hope that whenever Bradley Beal is ready to come back, and they start a 5-game homestand tomorrow against the Kings, if it's sometime during that 5-game homestand, that perhaps this is the homestand where we see the debut of the Big Three, and we start to figure out what it looks like.
Right.
Bobby Marks yesterday, friend of the station, was on with Wolf and Luke, and he was asked what he thinks the Suns roster needs right now. Here's what he said.
I'd love for them to go out and try to get Tyus Jones from Washington. I know, you've gone with, Devin and Goodwin's played some point guard, and I think, the goal is to put Beal up point guard here. I'd love for them to go out and get an established veteran and kind of a guy that can just control the game. But I don't know how you go out and do that if it doesn't cost you, Grayson Allen and Nasir Little.
Can Bradley Beal be that guy when he comes back?
I don't know. Shams Charania back, if you want to go back to when the trade was made, he reported that Bradley Beal is expected to enter this season to enter Suns training camp as the team's starting point guard with Jordan Goodwin as the reserve point guard. That's what sources told him. And that was on July 16th. He reported that Bradley Beal would enter as the starting point guard. Now, Devin Booker at times has looked phenomenal as the point guard.
Sure has.
But there's been other times like this game against LA where didn't he have more turnovers than assists?
Yeah, 7-6.
Yeah, and that was a really bad game. I still envision a situation where both guys handle the ball to take pressure off of, so it's not one guy that's doing it all the time. Beal's a pretty good playmaker. He's played point guard at times, just like Booker has at times. They don't have the prototypical point guard on the roster, but getting Beal in here, I think, does allow you. You have a game going like with Devin Booker. You don't have to go to a backup that's not in that level. You could just give the ball to Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
You could have both guys take the ball up the court depending on where the ball's coming from.
Yeah, I heard Bickley talking about this morning, and I agree with him. I think when Kevin Durant is on the floor by himself, I think the word Bick used was wonky, and I think that's when things get a little wonky. Now, Devin Booker did not play a good point guard on. He didn't play the position well against. But I think for the most part, he's playing it at a pretty high level, and I'm okay with him. I feel like it's those moments when KD's out there, and KD's already on record as saying, I don't want to be the guy who has to create a bunch of shots. I don't want to, I want to be kind of the secondary player off of that guy. Assuming that two of the big three are going to be on the floor at all times, I like the idea. Beal's not a traditional point guard by any stretch, but I like the idea of him being out there with KD, so KD doesn't feel like he has to initiate offense.
Last year, Beal had about 5.5 assists per game, second best of his career. But he only averaged 2.9 turnovers, which were the fewest that he had in the last 4 years. So he's produced better and become more of a proven passer and getting teammates involved. I mean, there was a game last year against Chicago where Bradley Beal had 17 assists in the game.
Wow.
17 assists. So he's very capable of taking that role and playing well in it. So I am looking forward to seeing if that can work.
The 5 games during the homestand. Tomorrow against Sacramento. Then they have the weekend off. They don't play again until Golden State on Tuesday. And then Mikal, Cam, and the Nets come into town on Wednesday for the second night of a back-to-back for the Suns. Home against the Knicks. Home against Washington.
Yeah, all of these games outside of maybe the first one or two are very possible.
Sacramento, Golden State, Brooklyn, New York, Washington. Somewhere in there, you would think we see Bradley Beal. You would think.
Yeah, from what Vogel said, just got to see him a little bit, make sure he recovers well, and he'll be out there.
Thanks for watching Burns and Gambo. Click to see more from the guys and hit the button in the middle to subscribe so you never miss a video from Arizona Sports.